Strava is cracking down on e-bikes, infiltrating its leaderboards. So the company said all activities uploaded to the app will now be automatically analysed by a machine learning model. And it'll look at 57 different factors, including speed and acceleration, to determine if any part of the activity was recorded on an e-bike. It says it's already successfully doing this to flag vehicles. In fact, users are now flagging 72% fewer activities as in a vehicle because their system is catching them first. And it's now rolling out that technology further in its latest update. The tech will also look for run activities that have actually been done on bikes. And Strava said the aim is to keep the competition on the app fair for all athletes by removing outliers and potential rule violations. And the platform's rules, because I know that you'll probably want to know this, the platform's rules do specifically state that users should not upload public ride activities which appear on leaderboards if they include data recorded in a car, a motorbike, an e-bike, or by pacing a vehicle.
If anyone's got the data to do this properly and well, it's Strava, isn't it?
I would say so,
because they can
yeah.
reference all of the legit KOM attempts and QOM attempts and use that as like, this is the speeds and accelerations that people do on these sections. And then train an AI.
100% of my Strava activities are done in a car.
Are they?
Yeah, none of them been flagged.
all of your KOMs are when the Garmin's from our filming sessions are on top of the car still.
Yeah.
Or on the back now.
Yeah.
So if you're going to cheat, you just have to be very careful about it. Is that what you're saying? You have to monitor the speed per segment.
I know what the average speed is for the segment, and I just drive slightly above that.
Clever.
Accelerate slowly so it looks like I'm on a bike.
But you're going to be outsmarted by AI because it'll be smarter than you.
Who do you think's smarter, Francis? Jimmy or AI?
Oh, in this at this point in time right now.
It's still AI, obviously.
Could you draw a little figurine plastic sealed Jimmy in high quality detail? Because ChatGPT can.
What
or
do you
DALL-E.
mean? Oh, are you referencing your latest
I've been
Roast
creating
My
loads
Ride?
of Jimmys, yeah.
Yeah, in the Roast My Ride video that you did, you made a lot of AI imagery, and
I
it was
can't
very
remember.
good.
I do it all the time now. Sometimes not even when I'm at work, I just create Jimmys in different funny scenarios. I ran out of ChatGPT coins or whatever. They're like, you're not allowed to do any until tomorrow now. No more Jimmys, they told me.
The problem is sometimes now you don't know what's real and not.
Is that I did Action Man Jimmy,
Yep.
Viking Jimmy,
Oh, cool.
Braveheart Jimmy.
Why have I not seen these?
Well, because I just can't be
Just for
bothered
your own
sending
personal
them.
collection.
I've used up all my internet
Tokens.
generating the AI image.
Cool.
Okay, well, back to Strava. I'm sure a lot of people will be pleased by this because I know that it does frustrate a lot. I think that you're never going to be able to 100% cancel out cheating on a platform like this, or in sport in general, to be fair. But I think Strava is a much better tool for personal, like self-benchmarking anyway.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
And our newest member of Strava, reintroduction to Strava, Jimmy.
Hello,
How are
that's
you?
me.
How are you enjoying it? Do you want to talk about anything Strava related? How's your Project 400 going?
So I would say my relationship with Strava and my relationship with Project 400 are very unconnected.
Okay.
And I say that because I do have a Strava portfolio and not a single bit of my...
Portfolio.
What is it? Profile?
Portfolio.
Profile.
Yeah.
Strava people would love that. If they can now call their
Strava portfolio.
You fucking assholes. So not a single piece of my data actually goes to Strava. They don't know how much stuff I've done.
Oh, okay. So you have Strava solely to set up the Project 400 club. Correct?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And that's going well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I think it's going well. So the club itself, I think, has got like 3,800 members, and people are discussing and talking amongst themselves to motivate them. And every now and again, I go in and just check there isn't people promoting a bad impression of what being active is about. But generally, everyone's really, it's a really, really nice community. And I think it's amazing.
Nice.
Personally, I think I'm on about 30 odd hours in however far we've got. So I'm under to the consistent average to hit 400, but I'm okay with that.
If anyone missed this is Jimmy and Nick's personal quest to do 400 hours in 2025. 400 hours of exercise, and people were so inspired by it that they asked you to set up a Strava club so they could also do the challenge. But it doesn't have to be 400 hours.
Does walking count?
It can be anything you want to count towards it.
Sitting.
So if you think that has value to you.
Does sitting have value to me? Yeah, well, of course it does.
Well, then if you want to log that against 400 hours for something you want to achieve, then go for it.
Do you remember our conversation the other day?
Probably not.
About how much exercise is healthy. And I think we both agreed that it's probably about an hour a day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The equivalent of. So you could do 3 hours and then nothing for the next 3 days. Is that what you're saying or no?
Probably. I don't know. Someone can correct me, and there's probably some evidence around what is optimum. Like that weird guy who's trying to live to like the oldest age ever. What's his name?
I don't know.
He looks young and old at the same time.
Yeah.
But he's trying to live to like 120. And his regime is like strict, a bit of exercise every single day without fail.
The thing is, though, the reality for most people is an hour a day is an astronomical amount of exercise.
And it's probably easier doing 4 in a go at the weekend and then less. Well, it's got to fit around life, isn't it?
But I think that's why I made Project 400 as a self-regulating thing. You choose what's valuable to you. So I also include, strength work, gym training. I think is fair to be part 100%. Of it. Sometimes I will walk, but it isn't just like sauntering around town, just wondering what's going on in town. But like I randomly walked back. What did I do? I dropped my car somewhere and then I walked about 4 miles into town to then get a bus home or something or other. And I was just like, well, this is like a proper walk. I'm walking for function.
Don't be walking elitist. I think sauntering is highly underrated.
Yeah, but
especially if you're a cyclist and you only ride bikes.
It was a zone 2 walk is what I'm getting at.
Okay, yeah. But every walk is a zone 2 walk for me. I'm just,
obviously running, ultimately there's lots of things which contribute to like good health. And I think people shouldn't discount them or think like I have to do a training session or I have to do a bike ride. There's lots of things that are really, really useful and healthy and good for you. And when you add those things in, then hitting an hour a day becomes much more achievable. But even an hour a day, including that, is still a lot of time, especially if you've got children, really overwhelming job or whatever. Just sometimes life gets in the way.
It's why it's good to set it up as a self-benchmarking thing rather than a competitive thing, because as soon as you add the competition, people go, well, that shouldn't be allowed, but
and also one of the challenges is like I've had to do quite a bit of travel for work over the last 2 weeks, and when you factor in that, you're always going to go, oh well, actually I can't do an hour of exercise, and then being okay with that and not then trying to go, oh well, now I have to do 2 hours a day. Actually just being like, well, no, that was fine and appropriate there, and I'm not going to try and chase that, and I'm just going to keep going through.
Actually, how many steps would you do walking around that bike show as well?
I didn't look, no idea.
Probably loads.
Probably.